They couldn't have somebody here, but she told me the server would be on, so I would assume, and I told her specifically, we were meeting at the Common, and it would probably be back here, 7-ish, so, and Sarah Wyman has reconnected and had several conversations with her. Had a tough adjustment time. Hubby's off training in Florida, so she's got the kids and has started a new job, and so lots of transitions going on, and she apologized profusely for not having responded to the previous 200 emails I sent. But said that she would do her very best to look back at those. She has a new email address as of this point, and anything you've gotten from me in the last week would have her new email address on it. Her phone number remains the same, but she said she would try to join us this evening. So that is the reason for the hybrid meeting. So we'll give Laura some more time to get that to work her magic. While you're doing that, please take the time to review the budget. Some of these items will need amplification, and there is one more being added to the list here, and that was a donor banner, which we didn't put on, Ed, but
Yep.
but I have that, and you have it on your copy now, cause I put it in red.
Thanks, I'll add it to the
Yeah.
file.
So. And it was really good to, we had a very comprehensive meeting today of the Memorial Committee, and worked out a lot of details. It's going to be well organized. Go ahead.
Excuse me, do we want Sarah to be able to fully participate and speak with us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. And literally, I think that with the assistance of 6 volunteers from the Lions, we will be fully organized at both ends. We're gonna have 4 people at the rec field, so as people come up and drop off, people that are gonna be in the parade, or cars show up, motorcycles show up, they're gonna know where to go. So, and they'll be directed to their position in the parade. So
Can you hear
that,
me?
Yes.
Who's
hey
that?
Sarah,
Hi. I can't hear anything.
we can hear you.
One moment.
Hold on.
How's this? Can you hear this?
Nope.
How is this? Can you hear this? You can call into the meeting.
Can you hear? Can you know?
Yes, we can hear you. This is a microphone test. She might not have her speakers on because the mic test passed.
Ask her, oh, you can't ask her.
I just typed it.
Turn your ears on.
Mhm.
You can also write on a piece of paper. There you go.
Oh, she's frozen now.
Frozen in time.
Mm.
Probably the internet.
I've touched base with every business between the Common all the way up to the new storage area, and I've left messages with most, because I haven't talked to them, and asked them if it's gonna be okay to park in their parking lot. And if it isn't, let us know, let me know. So, none have responded. The one I talked to said no problem at all, it's a holiday, they're not gonna be there anyway. So, as people arrive, the organizers at the rec field will be directing cars that, after they drop people off, to go green, and then as that fills up, and there'll be 2 people that go green, and asking people, are you staying for both the parade and the ceremony? And park them in a particular area. And if they are not staying for both, they're gonna park them in a different area, so when they go to get out, they'll be able to get out. And then the overflow from that would be in the parking area next to the Go Green, which is where that new storage area is going up. Kellyanne, my daughter, owns most of that parking area, but a little bit of it belongs to the new owner. So I contacted them and just let them know, but that's once again gonna be, okay, can you hear us, Sarah?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me
Yes.
still?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, great, welcome back.
Sorry. Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Okay, we're officially convening the meeting. It's being taped from public access, so let's take a look at the agenda and follow the agenda items. And we've already accomplished meeting at the Common and looked over the progress that's been made with all of the restoration, cleaning work, and so on and so forth. That's moving along at a very good pace. We also talked about what's gonna happen in the next week or so, which will include, I'll certainly notify you when the monument's gonna be delivered and put in place, and also when they're gonna come back and finish off the Civil War monument, put the eagle on. So any steps along the way we'll certainly make you aware of, and if you like to be there, all well and good. I've done that, every time I've done that, I've notified Barry Gazette and Gardner News, and Steve Landry showed up. Subsequent to that, he's talked to both Laura and Ed to get other perspectives. So the fact that we are bringing in 35 to 40 veterans from Worcester, we arranged for a bus free of charge from McCarthy, and bringing up veterans from Veterans Inc. on Grove Street in Worcester. That was a good move.
Right.
In addition to that, that'll result in the Worcester Telegram being interested in the story, and that story will be published prior to Memorial Day and may generate additional activity. So in conjunction with what needs to be done as Memorial Day approaches, everything seems to be falling into place. The Memorial Day Committee is gonna be meeting on a weekly basis, starting with today, next Wednesday, the Wednesday after, and if need be on the 25th, to pull everything into order. So the fact that we have Tom and I are on that committee, and Ed has sat in to advise, I think we have a really good communication going, and the police were there today. If anybody, I've received inquiries from Hubbardston veterans who are families are coming from the Cape, some coming from North Carolina. I've been asked twice about handicapped parking. Today we talked about that, and literally we're going to have them park up by the church, and the police officer on duty will be only allowing handicapped people that say that they need handicapped access, and they'll to park there. And then as the parade is coming off the main street, in addition to that, the floats will be going up, that access up by the church, and also the motorcycles. we've decided, the motorcycles, we have no idea how many motorcycles yet, cause I've talked to 4 motorcycle clubs and 6 antique car clubs. And they're all interested because they have veterans. And they're all saying, very interesting, we have other commitments, but I may be able to send, some bikes. They're all meeting this month at some point, and I said, if you can, get back to me and tell me how many might be coming, but at any rate, we'll welcome as many that come, and we'll make arrangements, for them to be part of the organization when we organize the, parade itself. We decided today that, with the motorcycles, one of their, issues or complaints was, if they're at the back of a parade and they have to stop many, many times, the motorcycle could overheat. So, today it was a suggestion by John Nason, that why not allow the motorcycles to go alongside the parade, cause you have the float and the people in the middle, and there's room on the left and the right, and they could go up, fairly slowly, and therefore, they'd stop at certain times, not to get too far ahead, but that would help with the flow, and he's had experience with other, parades, and so, and then they would be going up onto the church area. We thought maybe they could park alongside that road, but somebody said there's dirt there, but there actually is, grass there, so we have, we still have things we're gonna be talking about, but I like the fact that we're in a close contact and coordination with the committee, and that is resulting in good communication and organization, because the beginning and the end, so we'll have 4 volunteers at the rec field, 2 volunteers at Go Green, and Ed and Tom are gonna be working on that. What I'd like to have is the names of those people.
Yeah, we'll get those at the next line.
Yeah, and they'll be reporting to Joe Gadnowitz is gonna be the point person
Okay,
at, and so they'll come, each of them is gonna have a schematic, a layout of, where the, setup will be, so they
you
know
got
where to
Joe's
go.
number?
No, his phone number?
Yeah,
I have no idea, but I'll
Okay.
get it for you, let me get it for you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Will parking be available at the center school?
yes, And then, Tom, what I'd like you to check on would be, phone number. Higgins, Motorsport in Barry, contacted us and is, would like to put military vehicles in the parade. And, they would also like to engage the public, not only in seeing the trucks go by, but also an opportunity to, take a look at the trucks and ask questions and so on and so forth. So we made arrangements to park the trucks after the parade in the parking lot. So the parking lot's gonna be dedicated to, the food truck and the senior center, tables and chairs and so on and so forth.
What they're gonna do is, when they come up, they're not gonna go all the way to Brigham. They're gonna come up and then go right into the police station.
Right up here.
Right up there, and then I think the idea was to have 3 of them come up facing across 68, and the other 3 to take the 3 spots, closest to the, I think it was gonna be to the library. They were gonna have them, so they were, and I was, when that came up at that last meeting, and the police chief jumped all over it and said, hell, yeah. Said,
so
"You
they're
know,
not gonna be promoting anything or trying to
Nope,
sell
not at all.
anything,
No,
they're just gonna
no,
be parked
no.
there.
But Tom, I'd like you to find out, because when I read back on the interaction, he said, I'm not sure how many are gonna be ready. So if you could, as the
Okay.
time gets closer,
Yeah.
verify how many are coming, and here's the reason why. Owen Ruud, R-U-U-D, has a military truck.
Right.
So he's not associated with Higgins, that's an extra
Right.
one. And then the fellow up on 68 who I talked to, and I can't remember his name right now.
Maycomber?
What is it?
Maycomber? I know the one you mean, I didn't know if that was Kevin Maycomber's
Yeah,
house.
that wasn't the name, I can't remember his name, but if you go up 68 on the right-hand side, there's a guy out in back that
Right.
has a couple of trucks. And I talked to him, he has 2 boys away in the service, otherwise he'd have more than 1 truck, but he'll have a truck. So that's 2 additional vehicles, so we have a total of potentially 8.
Oh, okay.
Now, do we
Just
not
make-
have those 2
Yeah, just-
join in the parade, or join in the parking after? What do you think?
Well, I think, where the places, you know, where all the, you know, the food is gonna be over on the,
Over there?
yeah.
Mhm, yep, mhm.
They're gonna be over on that side. And so, there's more than 3 parking spaces there.
Sure, yeah.
So you could probably take up 2 more.
So what we're gonna have is a dialogue when these vehicles show up, and when, for example, the antique and classic cars show up, and we're gonna say to them, you're welcome to stay. And literally with the antique and classic cars, they're gonna be able to park on Main Street too. Initially, Chief said, and then but today, Sergeant Couture, I asked him, and he said, sure, why not? So they're gonna know where they can park, and they can park on both sides, as a matter of fact, you know. And it's just gonna be a little bit of an issue, because now you have the antique and classic cars that are someplace in the middle, and when they get to the end of the parade, they're gonna be parking on Main Street. And you have people that are sitting on Main Street waiting for the parade to come by, and will it block their view? I'm trying to think of everything, so, a little bit,
If they should put cones out if they're gonna have them parked there.
well, they're gonna park there, but you're gonna have people on the sidewalk, you know, that are gonna be watching the parade. And if the cars pull up and you have older people that are sitting, they're gonna have their view blocked.
But the parade ends right at the common, so they're gonna park after the common.
We're gonna park all the way up, I would say, what I'm gonna recommend to the organizers is, when you pull up as far as you can. That's the best I can offer, you know, that communication and dialogue is gonna be complicated, but we're hoping for the best organized beginning and the best organized end. So the other 2 Lion volunteers would be working on the common with Claudia and I, cause as a group approaches the common, and they're coming off and they're gonna be part of the ceremony, they're gonna need to know where to go. So you're gonna greet them and say, okay, you're the drill team from Quabbin. So you can't say, go up there by the tree, cause they're not gonna know, so you're gonna have to, that person's gonna have to go up there with them and kinda direct them, unless we have all kinds of signage out there, which I don't see happening. So having the 4 there is gonna less complicate that,
Sure.
because the second one comes and they can escort them up to where they're gonna go, and then when they're through, they're back down to take care of the next group, so.
They're way in the back, they're number 20.
What,
The classic cars are way in the back.
yeah, they're way in the back, yeah.
So by the time they come, the
And that
parade
was
is
part of the
almost
reason that
over.
we put them there,
Yeah.
yeah, so.
So then if they pulled in front of them, the parade would be pretty much over
Yeah.
at that time anyway.
So, the bottom line is coming together, trying to share with you as much as possible, and I'm sure we'll have another meeting or 2 beforehand, and try to keep you up to date, so.
I
is
got a
that-
call, I got a more toward when they're gonna do stuff, I got a call from Bob Pearson and he talked with Marty, but Marty, had 15 jobs that he was gonna be working on to do. And so he couldn't give Bob Pearson from Limits to Monuments a date at this time. But Bob's gonna go down and do a rubbing, and actually he went down and do the rubbing.
He did,
Yeah,
okay.
and then he's gonna go back and blast, but he said that he would let me know as soon as he and Marty, right from Astro Crane, had picked a date.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll get that back to everybody.
So, as you know, we have 4 names we're adding, and 1 middle initial and 1 gold star. So we're up to 204 as far as names, and those extra names, of course, we gotta pay for, and that was the idea. But we have room for 16, so we're in good shape, and if, I'm sure that we're gonna have a couple more after, and then we'll wait a certain amount of time, and then to not have to pay the extra setup cost, and then we'll, add in the others, but, Sarah, can you hear us?
Yep.
Good, perfect, okay. So, sponsor banner, that's the next thing. That is now, designed, ordered, and what's the approximate date?
May 10th.
The 10th, wonderful. And then on that date, or shortly after when it arrives, I'd like to convene, maybe that's gonna be appropriate for a meeting, and do another video of the opening of it and the spreading out of it, and using that as a PR to spread the word. So we'll let you know when that happens. The cost of that is on your budget. Except for Sarah, you don't have that last entry, which is the donor banner for $150.24. So two-sided and outdoor. If you think about how long our original banner lasted, through all the winter and all the winds and so on and so forth, we got our money's worth. And now we have the sign that Sarah put up for the time being, so that Sarah made. I just gotta let you know, Laura, that you will not receive $150.24.
Huh.
You will receive that minus sales tax, because they don't pay sales tax.
Oh, yes.
Learned that the hard way.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I learned it the hard way last year too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So when you put in your bill,
Hmm?
just include whatever the sales tax is and say one banner, X amount.
I submit the invoice from the
Yeah, the
manufacturer because I'm not I don't sell banners, so I was just the conduit to buy the banner. So it's what, like $7?
$8.14 or something. I looked at it and
But that is a good tactic for if I were actually a reseller of that.
as a matter of fact, that is exactly what I did with the powder coating. I said to him, don't put sales tax in, just give us a price. And that's what he did, $550. So I didn't know if they were gonna break it down and have something, but he wasn't about to get paid. So I don't wanna have bad feelings for something like that, so. All right, any of the members wish to march in the parade? Steve, you said yes.
No, I'm just gonna stay up here
Yeah,
and
okay.
watch it.
All right, there's somebody that will have an issue with you at that point. Mr. Gadnowitz said,
Oh.
you talked to Miga, I want him to march too. So, the Memorial Committee will form, up on the common. You'll be next to the veterans. And so, whatever you're doing in the course of the parade, when that's finished, come up on the common, and there'll be a designated area right next to the veterans, because I've asked Ryan in the course of his presentation to talk about the genesis, and then to talk about asking for volunteers, and then to acknowledge them. So at that point, we'll probably ask you to stand up, okay? So anybody else from the committee wanna march? Wanna march?
No.
Good, okay, yeah. And there's
I
gonna
wanted
be,
to, but you told me I couldn't.
well, you're gonna ride, Mr. Grand Marshal, yeah. And Tom is gonna be riding in a 49 Packard, as I'm repeating myself in many cases here, but he's gonna have 3 generations of veterans. Your son-in-law,
It's my son-in-law and my granddaughter.
granddaughter, yeah, so they'll be in the back seat.
The
And I
veterans
told
are
you, you
all
can't sit on the seat, you have to sit in the seat.
The veterans are all gonna march as like a group?
Yes, yeah, there's
So
gonna
I'll
be,
with them then.
good, there's gonna be 2 or 3 floats. So those that can't march will be able to be on the float, and then those that wanna march will march behind.
Did any kind of dress or anything?
Whatever you'd like to, but put some clothes on.
I was thinking about just shorts.
Yeah,
I'm gonna march, but I might march with the Lions Club.
yeah, fine, yeah, okay, good. Okay, moving right along, And, what about, Sarah, you wanna march with veterans?
If you need bodies, sure.
The more the better, because it's veterans of all, services and all times, so it isn't just Vietnam veterans, it's all
No,
veterans.
all veterans.
So, so give that some consideration. There
Okay.
will be farming at the, rec field, 10 o'clock. So that's when we're asking people to show up. We have, I've kind of staged it, I've asked a couple of 10:15, but no later than 10:15, because we'll have stragglers and we wanna kick off precisely at noon, at 11 o'clock, to be able to kick off. We're, thinking about the one part of the ceremony that's supposed to take place at noon is what, Tom? That's the flag?
That flag.
And at that point, the flag is down and we put the flag back up?
No, it goes out, it goes down at, in the morning,
That's correct, yeah.
do half mast, and then at noon, we put it back up.
So we have that right at the beginning of the program. Absolutely at the beginning. I asked that today, that it was at the very beginning. So that, if in fact we're ready to go 11:45, then we can do one or two of the first parts of it, but then noontime, and
Yeah,
you'd
that's-
be signifying that.
Yeah, what I used to do is I would just watch, and as we were going through the program, and then I would just say, at this point, we need to raise the flag. It's noon. It's time to raise the flag.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Red Scouts would go out, or whoever's doing it's gonna go out and put it up.
Okay.
Is there a firing squad?
Yes, we're on
Do they
we
call it
had,
that when it's an honor guard?
pardon?
I thought a firing squad was an execution squad. Do they call it that for honor
They
guards
do
too?
call it a firing squad. They
Ooh.
still do.
Wow.
I can say that for a fact because Ryan mentioned it, and the new veteran service officer mentioned that vernacular.
Right.
So here's what's going on there. We do have a color guard, and the color guard is the Massachusetts National Guard coming out of Gardner. It's 181st Infantry. I have had contact with First Sergeant Burke, who frankly had never been to Hubbardston, didn't know where the rec field was, and I told him 68 South, because they're all coming in from different areas. Said he wasn't sure, but he thought he'd be able to put together some flags. I said, that's good. He asked what else that we wanted to do. I said, well, I want you to form up, as a color guard. And then I said, and what about doing the gun salute? And he said, well, there's a little issue with that. I don't have a military vehicle access, so these guys are all gonna be coming in civilian cars. And he thought he would have 7. But they can't carry guns in a civilian car. So they can't
They what?
have the rifles in the civilian vehicle.
Have you talked to the
Oh, the
Hubbardston militia?
military?
Yeah, they're
We
gonna
have
do it.
indeed. Today,
Yeah, they did
Skip
do it.
Scott was here representing the Hubbardston militia, and they're gonna take care of the firing.
Okay.
Okay, so he said they've been practicing. That was exactly what he said. So we're covered in that regard. So, okay.
They said they couldn't carry rifles in the car?
The National Guard, they cannot
Is it
carry.
that policy? 'Cause it's not mass.
Oh, yeah, in fact, Ryan and VSO, the Veteran Service Representative, he said, what did he call it? A friction point was the exact terminology used. And I
Really?
said,
'Cause that's how you get a rifle home from the gun store.
yeah, you can,
Yeah.
but when they're on duty.
That's what I mean, that was their policy, more
Yeah.
or less.
Mhm.
Okay, that's what I'm
Yeah.
curious about,
Yeah.
their policy.
So M16s are not allowed in
Okay.
a Nash Rambler or whatever it might be, so.
Yeah.
All right, the crux of the meeting is the finances. So the next item up is update financial numbers and the status of unpaid invoices. Let me address the unpaid invoices, which the majority of them revolve around Mr. Blanchard not being paid. The acting town administrator. I've been doing the dance with him for the last 6 weeks and been getting it's been circumvented. I'm checking with the powers that be. I'll let you know, and so on and so forth. And so I think he was delaying, waiting for Ryan to come back. So I immediately called Ryan. I gave him until Monday and asked him if we could meet. So we met today after the Memorial Day meeting, and let me synopsize it because that's the best way of doing it. The Reader's Digest version is Ed will be reimbursed for the outstanding invoices. And I'm gonna leave it at that for the time being, because there's too much more to cover. But Steve, you brought that up last time, and you said, has he been paid? And he hadn't at that point. But he will be paid.
A lot of red tape.
A lot of red tape, but I will see to it, so. Okay, so follow along, and then I would say, why don't you let me go through it, and then ask any questions you might have. So prior to today, we had raised $48,810. As of 2 p.m., we've raised an additional $800. And that was a donation made by myself and my son. So we have another $800 that'll be added, and Sandy will be in touch with you.
I've already got it signed.
Okay, great.
She's gonna send me the thing and I'll mail it out.
Great.
Mail it out.
So we now have, and if you happen to have a pencil and you wanna write this stuff down, that's fine. So, and then as we go down the line, these would be numbers you've seen before, the $21,100, and then the $9,318 is all the gobbledygook associated with Ed not being paid, but that will be done, so that reduces the balance to the 18,000 and change. And then other items that were bid on, were accepted by the committee, is $2,000 for Astro Crane to well, they actually have stored it for nothing, and I've made many trips there, and they have been unbelievably cooperative in terms of moving that monument around 8 or 9 times during the repair, inspection, taking the rest of the crate apart, and so on and so forth. Could not have asked for a better contractor to do that work, and he's not finished. And then that's what Ed was talking about, Astro Crane, which is where it's located, Leominster Monuments, who was our contractor that are gonna be doing the final setup. Astro Crane's delivering it, putting it in place, and then Leominster Monument is the one that is gonna be doing the final touches. I guess that's the best way of saying. And as we've indicated there, we hope that next week, the week of May 9th, is when, during the week, at some point, it's gonna be delivered. Weather will have a bearing on it, and coordination between the two companies, but they're in touch with each other already, and we feel very comfortable that gives us enough time to get it in place, cover it up, and have it ready for the 30th.
I have a question about that. Last year, I think, Ed, you were there, somebody was inspecting, I think it was Leominster Monument, was inspecting the pad that was for the memorial and saying it was a little bit pillowed, like a lozenge.
Yep.
Is that going to be flattened out?
Yep, what they'll do is they'll come in and they'll level the base on top of that by putting in plastic shims.
Mhm.
And then once it's leveled with plastic shims, they'll raise the monument, and then they'll put quick setting cement, so there's like grout. And what they'll do is they'll pour that, put the monument on top of it, and then the monument will still be level because the shims are still there. That will set up, And then once that's set up, then they'll place the monument on top of it.
Okay, excellent.
And on Astro Crane, they've probably done about $2,000 more in work for us, repairing it and getting the letters on and that. And that's one of the reasons why we put them on the banner as a donor, because we're really giving them credit for that $2,000, which they haven't charged us for. So it really amounts to a donation.
In kind, no doubt about it. So now, going down the line, restoration of the existing monuments. What you have there is the number and the status. So, we were able to physically observe, the monuments. So, the Span Am and, World War One is done, that was $250. That looks really good. There's one little bit of leakage, from the bronze, and that's the verdigris that over the years, and they blasted that a couple of times, and he said
It's
if,
not gonna come off.
pardon?
I don't think that's gonna come off.
Not gonna come off, and they literally don't wanna treat it anymore, cause they're afraid that they're gonna discolor the granite, so, it looks real good. The World War II monument looks really good. Civil War monument, which we all observed, as we indicated there, it needs a second cleaning, and they're doing that no extra charge because the result, was not up to our satisfaction, because we felt that it could be improved on, and they're gonna do their very best by using the chemicals they use and the power washing, so they'll be working on that. Then we have, the $1,800 to, build the, eagle, and then what we indicated there is the eagle's off, meaning it's no longer on the monument, as you know, cause you were able to see that. And then, the mounting of the eagle was an additional $850, is that correct, Ed?
Yep.
So, yeah, okay. So, now we get down to the cannonballs, and the original Cannonball Run was, $2,230. That's done, as you saw, the pyramid is out there. Number 1 pyramid, number 2 pyramid, will be there next week. The welding was done by Hub Equipment, which not only donated, money to the memorial, but also did the welding at no cost. So we put them on as is it a gold? Where are they
I
on?
think they're maybe a silver.
Silver, okay, I
Yeah.
know they were on the,
Remember.
because of that in-kind service they provided, we bumped them, okay?
Yep.
The power coating, it was Central Mass Power Coating that did that, did a great job. I was there 3 or 4 times, and I asked them about the process and what the final product would be, and they delivered, they shrink wrapped it, we picked it up and got it back here. So, that's done, that invoice has been submitted. Pin and mount cannonballs, there's $500, what's that, Ed? I'm not sure what that is.
Pin and mount the cannonballs, that's taking the actual cannonballs, drilling them into the granite and cementing those in.
Okay, and that's a cost that we incurred from Leominster Monument?
Yeah, he's only gonna, I asked him if he wanted a partial payment, and he's gonna wait till the end and bill us all.
Okay.
But I gotta make sure that that's not over $10,000,
That's
cause
for
then,
sure.
then they'll have said, why didn't you put that out to bid?
Well, it won't be, cause we're looking at, because we gotta take into consideration the fact that they're gonna be doing the,
Mountain.
and with the new, wording too of the 4 names we're adding.
Mm,
So you're gonna talk to them, make sure that,
I'll make sure that
Mhm.
we get 2 invoices.
okay, cause on the page 2, there's future expenditures, so, okay. Transport, clean bases, that's, relationship to the cannons.
Yeah.
You saw the work that got done on the cannons, sandblasted and painted, and then transporting them up to New Hampshire, is that where they get
Yeah.
done? And back, that was $1,000, we'd agreed to that beforehand.
Yep.
Has that invoice been submitted?
No.
I didn't think so. And the $500 invoice for the, cannons has not been submitted, the sandblasting and painting, right?
Right,
That has not been done. But that's a different vendor, is that correct?
on,
Cannonballs, the guy that sandblasted and painted the cannonballs.
That was a
Mechanics.
different vendor and I paid him in cash.
Okay.
And I have an invoice for that, which I'll submit.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Without
Because the
sales tax.
town administrator asked me today to give him, an update on unpaid invoices, future invoices, so he could have a bigger picture of what's, going on, so I'm gonna do my best to present him with that.
You could probably give him a copy of this sheet,
Yeah, that'd be a good start,
probably
yeah,
be easiest.
yeah, so,
He'll know where we are.
cause he wants to know that, so. All right, World War II and Korean War monument done. So that, and the $1,500 for the band. So that amounted to, 9,780 for the work being done on the other monuments, another 1,500. So now we're down to $5,112
May
remaining.
I
in the kitty.
interrupt? The 9,780 figure should be above 250 because all of those expenses above 250 between restoration of existing monuments and $1,000, that adds up to $9,780.
What adds up to 9,7? Tell me again, please.
If 9,780 is down here,
Yeah, I see it.
move it up because that doesn't include the 250.
The very last 250?
Yes.
Oh, I see what you mean, okay.
Must have added it wrong, huh?
Yeah, so
Alright,
we
I'll
have
change that.
250 less?
I'll make that plus 250, leave it where it is.
Okay,
And the pin and mount cannonballs, is that $500 for the pair of pyramids?
correct.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay, next page. All right, this is where the rubber hits the road, so to speak. We have been pushing extremely hard to recover some of our costs regarding the repair of the monument and the storage. And those two numbers add up to, well, no, they don't add up to that. Do they add up to the 4,557, Ed? 4557, the 2,600 plus the, why did we come up with the 4557?
That's what we're gonna get back from the insurance on the repair
Okay, mhm.
and the storage recovery for that time they shouldn't have put it in storage.
Okay,
So that's gonna come back from Hablestone.
so, I
And
mean,
added the 5,112 to that gives you a new balance of 9,669.
yeah, okay. So to reiterate what I just said, we've been fighting very hard, pushing to get reimbursement for those extra charges and costs we incurred. And the last figure we got from them was that they were gonna quote, settle for $4,557 they were gonna reimburse us. But we have not received that yet, so that's why I put anticipated. The verbiage is that they're waiting for the import,
The storage company to send them the money
Yeah,
they need to
yeah.
do,
so.
so they can send one wire.
And so at that point, so that would put us back up to having $9,669 in the kitty, okay? But that's not in the kitty yet, so that's why I'm gonna give you worst case scenario. So now we go to future anticipated repairs, are done at this point. The 2,600 to repair the monument, invoice submitted, and it's been paid. The result of the repair, satisfactory, would be my terminology. And what do you think, when you looked at it?
Yeah, I would say, it's probably, 75% look good. You know, I mean, we're looking at it 'cause we know where the chips are. Once the whole monument's cleaned and sitting on the base, I don't think that the ones on the bottom of the base, anybody's even gonna
See that?
take note of. The one at the top, may, it may be slightly visible.
But if you look at a 100% monument, 9,500 pound monument, the damage would be less than 2%.
Yeah.
The repairs would bring that, in my opinion, you can form your own once you see it, to 1%. And on a bright sunny day, with somebody fixating on it like I would if it were my car and there was a scratch on it, it's noticeable. But permanent, we'll see. We have every reason to believe that it is gonna be a permanent fix. Down the road, we'll have a better idea of that, but I don't think people are gonna be saying, hey, look at that, you know, by any means, cause if they are, then they're looking at the
Why
wrong
don't we
place.
leave it for the committee for 100 years to worry about
Yeah.
the restoration?
And when you're around, Bill, you can
Yeah, when I'm
answer the
around.
Yeah,
question.
if somebody asks you about that, you know what my answer is?
Yeah.
Uh,
Weather, it's weather wear.
all those soldiers who came home
Yeah,
were slightly damaged.
yeah, oh, yeah.
So if
They're
there's a
gonna be
little
looking at the
slight
names.
damage on the monument, it
They're gonna be
reflects
looking
the
at the
damage
names
that
and
they
stuff.
live with.
Absolutely.
The
It's-
damage they
And they're
live with
beautiful.
every day.
I mean, the eagle's beautiful,
I
the
agree,
base
yeah.
is beautiful, the names are very, very distinctive. You look at any other monument on the common, we have a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch.
Yeah.
These are a full inch, so people from 20 feet are gonna be able to read it. And so I'm prejudiced, but overall, overall I'm thrilled, satisfied with the repair under the circumstances. So then we have 4 items under future anticipated expenses that I've put an asterisk in front of. The banner flyover, which I notified you about, landscaping, which Ed has talked to a landscaper and talked about really beautifying the areas around all the monuments and the flagpole, and especially the one across the street, which has looked pretty haggard for a long period of time. And so all in, we thought that might be $500. The Veterans Collage, which we have 2 options. Veterans Collage would be the banner that I talked about earlier. I've been to Staples. I submitted 27 photos of our Vietnam veterans who submitted pictures. 3 of those photos are headstones. I walked the cemeteries, found headstones of 3 of our Vietnam era veterans, notified each of their families and asked if it would be okay to use the headstone. And all of them said they'd be honored. That was the exact term they used. And I think we need to show that as part of the overall presentation to say that, you know, some of these men have moved on and they've died. And it's really too bad that they couldn't see it.
I
But
just
we-
found out another one, Kevin Anderson, he died last year.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
didn't even know it, yeah.
2 weeks ago I found out.
Yeah, yep, and we have more than that, we probably have more than a dozen or so that have passed along. I asked Ryan today, what percentage of communities in Massachusetts, 351 communities, have Vietnam memorials? And I did a little research on that, and you asked me that question, Steve. I started to look up community by community, and I got through like 70, and it was about 1/3. And Ryan said he was gonna check on that. He had somebody that was extremely involved in community, Vietnam veteran memorials, Massachusetts Vietnam Veterans Memorial, etc. And his speculation was that it was between 1/3 and 1/2. So Hubbardston is ahead of the curve as far as that's concerned too, so. And the $1,000 to mount the Vietnam Veterans Monument, that was a cost we have not contracted for yet, Ed?
Right, that's limits the monument coming here and leveling, putting down the grout for the base, and then giving directions to the crane operator so that we can, it's got 4 pins between the base and the monument, and we check those and they all line up, so we think we're good there. They're on 3/4 inch stainless steel rods, so there'd be 4 of those. So you gotta get those all lined up, and then they'll put a final bead of caulking all the way around, and they'll epoxy the pins so that once it comes down, it's not moving. Actually, even without all of that, even if it was not pinned at all, no one's gonna move 10,000 pounds unless they hit it with a car. So
Just sort of hope that.
Yeah.
that's an estimate only because he charges $3.75 an hour.
And you thought you were gonna kinda talk to him about that, didn't you?
I did, and he said that's a fair price. And
Usually with 4 people here though, right?
I think, well, he's gonna have at least one person here, at least to mix cement and do that.
Mhm.
I can't imagine it taking more than 2 hours, but I figured for 3.
Yeah, and when they came to do the cleaning, there were 4 here,
Yeah.
working very hard on it, so. I need to go back on the veterans collage and photographer, cause I just kinda skipped over that. So, went to Staples, asked them about doing a banner, where we'd have really a large banner, which would be 3 feet by 8 feet, with 27 photos on it. On the top, it would say Hubbardston Vietnam era veterans, and they're working on a design. It's $100 for the banner, $75 an hour for the design, which should not be too complicated, cause I gave them all the pictures with all the names on it. And so, that would be theoretically, let's figure 2 hours it takes them to design it, so that'd be $250. My photographer worked on it for 6 hours. I'm gonna put in for 4 hours at $25 an hour for him downloading all the pictures, putting all the names on it, so that's $100 there. So that $500 is probably on the high side, and that would be if we went with the banner. If we go with photos, which would be nice, and a collage is generally with some kind of a spread, and I thought I'd like to have photos kind of touching each other, cause these are all brothers in arms. And at that point, I would buy a couple of frames, and I think we need 2 frames. The cost to do the photos was $50 in high quality paper for the 27, and then the frames would be, $25 a piece. So we could bump that down, and we'll go back on that.
Would it make a difference, is that something that after we would give to the historical
I
society
think
for
so,
keeping?
yeah, if they have a
So
place to put it.
But,
A banner, I
Would-
don't think they want the banner, but,
yeah, they probably wouldn't want the banner, but
but they
might
would
want
like
the
the pictures maybe, yeah.
So that might be, not from a cost standpoint, 'cause we can do
From a
either one. but-
Posterity standpoint,
Yeah.
but based on the fact that it does look like, what's the name of McGilla's cabinet or something, Mother Hubbard's cabinet, and being so filled, the likelihood of it ever getting on display would be probably small.
Yeah.
All right, the, another major cost, but we anticipated it, is the adding the veterans' names to the monument. I told you 4 names, 1 middle initial and 1 gold star. We've approximated that to be $835. Eagle Scout project, I've been approached by Jamie Pitney, whose son is doing an Eagle project, and the project is to build a flag box. That flag box is a recovery repository for old flags, to have them, a place to put them, and at some point, as you know, the scouts on field day do the ceremony at the end. And he thinks that that project is about $1,000, and he approached us because he thought we were filthy rich, and asked if we could possibly donate $450 to that project. I put the asterisk in front of it, because that's something we need to talk about, and we'll go back on. Now, the FUBAR aspect of it comes into play, because we had the 3 Cannonballs less than we were supposed to get, and in anticipation of them being shipped quickly, we ordered 5 more Cannonballs, and we had them air freighted, and hoping that they would arrive in plenty of time to make that last pyramid. That has not happened. So we've spent $475, paid and done, and we'll have extra balls. So, can I say,
If anybody needs a cannonball.
Yeah, you don't wanna be short, that's for sure.
well, and they will not be powder coated. They'll be silver like they look.
Spray, I got a black spray for it.
Yeah, we could,
Yeah.
but right now,
Yeah.
we don't have a need for them. Right, juggler, you know.
Yeah, juggling for today.
And then the $96 was for the 3 cannonballs that we purchased in order to make that last pyramid. We were short the 3, and they are the ones that are thinner, but they are placed in a position that we'll hope that they'll be last for long enough till all of us have gone away. So, all right. So if we spent all of that money and we got the reimbursement from Haebo of the $45.57, is that total still accurate?
Now you gotta take $250 off the 2413.
Okay, so, all right, if we take that money off, and then we need to take the 150 off that for the donor banner.
So take off 400, we'd have 2013.
Yep, so,
Right.
all right. So that would mean we'd still have a surplus. We'd still have money left over if we decided on all these things. But I wanna also, and this is where if you have a pencil, you wanna write it down or just kind of follow it. And now it's gonna be a little screwed up because the 250 is not included in that, but if we had the 2,263 remaining, which would have been the minus the 150, and we didn't get reimbursed from Haebo, then we would have a shortfall of what I had was $2,294. So that would mean that we'll come up short. That's reduced by $800 by the donation made today. So that shortfall now would be $1,494 plus $250. So let's say $1,700 for the sake of conversation. So that means we need to look back on some of the things that we might have considered spending money on, but no longer can consider spending money on. So I'll stop there. And now I'd like input from you folks, questions, concerns, differences of opinion as it relates to what you see on this current budget. So, Bill?
When the scouts approached you, because he approached the Lions Club too, did he say his 450 is all he needed? Or
$1,000 is what he thinks he needs to,
How much did we give him, Bill? Five, we gave him 500?
Okay.
Okay, so now I understand.
okay.
This is
So
bad.
now he has, he's in need of an additional $500, and we can certainly reduce that amount. I mean, that was what Jamie asked for on behalf of his son.
I would comment that of the 4,557, about 2,400 of that is from Haebo, and that's a given. I don't think there's any way we're not gonna get that. If the storage, whatever they reneged, we might lose the 2,000 there.
Why do you think they presented you with that figure, 4557?
That's the figure she sent to me. That was a combination of what the insurance figure was and the
For the damage?
and the 2,044. Never gave me, she said that's all the insurance company would pay. And you know, if I wanted to spend hours and fly to China, it might be different.
One way, you'd probably be.
But, you know, I
Yeah,
mean,
pain.
if I was gonna take a hard stance at it, my hard stance would be, you know, the specs say that you insured that for $20,000, cause that's what the specs were for the monument. So, I mean, we were gonna submit Astro Crane's, time to see if he could get reimbursed for his time, but when I mean, we're shortfall maybe, I don't know, $400, something like that. 2,600, and I think they're giving us 22 or something like that. So, for $400,
When I
wasn't
looked
worth going to task.
when I looked at that specific number, to me that's exactly what I saw, that, you know, the two of them had
Got
talked.
together.
They got together, that's what the number was. Now the question is, when are we gonna get it?
Well, they're just waiting for the storage amount to come in, and then she'll wire it to me,
Okay.
and I'll let you know as soon as I get it. And then my plan for that would be to take that, cut a check for the town, and have them deposit that and then pay. That's the proper way to do it.
Doesn't that sound like an odd figure though? I know
Oh,
what you're
yeah.
saying, but this 57, yeah, so they came up with this number on their own, as much as.
You know,
I'm
insurance,
just saying, I
you
know
know
what you're saying,
insurance companies.
but it, yeah, no, but it just seems funny that it comes up odd like that, not a whole number. But anyway,
I'll make a motion that we move forward with the 4 asterisk items as stated. I feel comfortable that, those funds will come.
Okay, we appreciate your informal motion.
Oh, that's right too, sorry.
Okay, any more discussion?
No,
Before we go back?
somebody else has to make the
Yeah,
motion.
well,
I'm
any
not-
more
Well,
dis-
the
I'll make
van,
that- I'll
van
make
a
that motion.
flyover for 800,
Yeah.
but it says here that it's not gonna happen.
No, that's different. The so the banner flyover was what I sent you information on, that there's a fellow that flies out of Fitchburg, and he has a little, it's not a Cessna, but I'll say for the sake of conversation, a Piper Cup of some sort, and he has a 30-foot banner behind it,
he makes it up, right?
and he makes up that banner,
Yeah.
and I supplied you with exactly the, and he has a certain number of characters that he does, and he's willing to fly over. This would be not the big
How
flyover.
low can he fly? 500 feet?
I think he has to fly at least 600. He can't.
Yeah, I
I
had
don't-
6, I would say.
Is it 600?
You can't grab
Usually
it,
for
let's say
that.
that.
I thought it was 500 feet.
No,
Anyway,
And that he'll circle around while the parade's going on and the ceremony's going on for 20 minutes. And it was Dolores that had suggested him, and I've interacted with him, and he's kind of holding a spot for us. Going back to the flyover, having done all the work and so on and so forth, I received official confirmation that we were denied the flyover by the Connecticut Air National Guard. And then Sunday night, the fellow who had been very instrumental in trying to get me to first base and second base, who's a retired lieutenant colonel and a pilot for the, and he was with the Connecticut National Guard, was flying home from Florida on a JetBlue flight, and the guy sitting next to him was a active lieutenant colonel in Connecticut National Guard, and he told him about it. He brought up all the stuff about our parade, and he said, I don't know why we can't do that. We're in the air that day. We're doing 3 or 4 others. And so they were having a meeting. Today's Tuesday?
Tuesday, what?
Tuesday, is it Tuesday?
Today is Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay. They were having a meeting Tuesday. He was gonna contact, they being the Connecticut Air National Guard, and he was gonna contact them today, which is Wednesday, and then get back to me in case there was a possibility that they could swing by Hubbardston. So he said, what's your time frame? I said, 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. I don't care, because initially they asked me, and it was a 15-minute window, and I said 12:15 to 12:30. So I will certainly keep you up to date on that. We could end up with 2, or if you decide not to move forward, we could end up with none. So that is $800, and I'm gonna instruct him to make sure there's no sales tax in there, to give us a 1 figure, so that he would be reimbursed that amount. So
my view on the flyover is, I think the, you know, a guy up there with a Piper Cub or whatever he's got, with, you know, flying around for,
20 minutes.
20 minutes is gonna be distracting. I mean, you know, a flyover is,
Yes.
zoom.
Right,
So, you know, if we have to cut something, I'd cut the 500 guy
Okay.
out, and, or the 800.
then the other thing too is the weather.
Yeah.
He
What if the
won't
guy
charge us
comes in
until
and
we
shoots
get
him
back.
down?
Oh.
Okay, so let's make a motion on that, Tom.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we take the,
Flyover.
the flyover, 800, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take that out, and then if the Connecticut people come up, we'd be more than happy to let them fly over.
Cherry on the
Second.
cake. Seconded, all those in favor? Okay,
Right.
opposed, okay, so we take out, all right, and, so the landscaper, that's, $500, or you would, as our advisor, you wouldn't expect that it would be any more than that. We're paying her $18.95 an hour.
Yep,
She's gonna make it look pretty.
yep.
So,
It's gonna
How
have
about-
red, white, and blue flowers
yeah,
on all the monuments.
and
And
basically,
clean up everything that's there.
and what about the mulch?
I'm gonna buy the mulch,
Okay, and then she's gonna put the mulch down? Okay,
or I will, I will.
okay, all right. Can I have a motion on accepting that as a future anticipated expense?
I make the motion.
Okay, seconded?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor of, doing the landscaping, vote,
Aye.
okay, that carries, we're in there. Okay, the Veterans Collage and Photographer, that, oh, yeah, that's, but, let me say, let's leave the 500 max in there, because, I also wanna hire him that day as a photographer. I wanna capture every moment possible for that day, and we're gonna have people doing pictures and so on and so forth, but,
Will Brittany be there to do a video?
is he gonna do a video? Absolutely,
Okay,
yeah, but,
That's
the
great.
idea that when that gets unveiled, to have him in front taking that picture, the monument being unveiled, certain, contingents coming down the main street, you know, the group gathering, that various groups on the common, I personally feel that's $100 well spent, rather than having a volunteer designate to do that. This guy's,
Who's gonna do the unveiling?
it's gonna be, we're gonna, at some point, we're gonna say, we would like any and all of the Hubbardston Vietnam veterans to come forward and gather around the memorial. And then they'll be sitting up, if you were at the right hand, if you were on the common, at the right hand cannon, you look up ahead at 1 o'clock is where the veterans are gonna be, seated, so, and that's gonna be all veterans. But then, at some point,
I gotta go.
okay, all right, thanks for your help, Ed.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
So at some point, we would ask the Vietnam veterans to come forward, and I hope there are 30 or 40, you know, and you all take a little piece of it and lift it off, you know, together, and get pictures of that, so, I would ask that we have a motion to, accept that potential $500 expenditure for a combination of the collage and the work being done by the photographer and his work that day. Okay, second, okay, all those in favor? Okay, so passed. All right, next one down is, the Eagle Scout project, the $450. Remember, we could end up with not enough money if we don't get the money from
alright.
ABO. So, I don't,
Worst comes to worst, the Lions might be, right, Tom? They would probably be they kinda made it, left an open end in case they.
They did?
Yeah, in case
That
he
was
fell
brought up
short.
at a meeting?
Yeah, in case he fell short.
Yeah.
They wanna make sure it was done, so they said if he couldn't get more sponsorships, he's gonna come back here,
Is that right?
and I'm sure.
How long ago was that?
The last meeting.
Absolutely.
Oh, was it so recent?
Yeah, last
Wednesday.
week.
Yeah?
Last week.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I feel better already. Okay. Yeah, I'm not,
So
'cause
we
I'm
could-
worried.
We could take that one out, I think.
Okay. Take that one out?
Yeah, okay, well, we can explain it at the meeting that we're real, the funds is really down to the wire, and would really appreciate it from the Lions if they could
Okay.
see their way through it.
But now I think you're talking about something different.
No.
Oh, do you still want to, let's discuss the Eagle Scout project. Do we still want to fund at 450?
No,
No? Okay, no?
No.
Okay, so let's have a motion on that.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. All those in favor of not funding the Eagle Scout project, so signify, okay? And I'll say no.
You can explain it to
So,
them whatever.
but it's carried. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll let Jamie know, that
He's gonna make it anyway.
he's gonna make it anyway, I know.
Yeah.
And it was, if you could, it'd be great, and so on and so forth. And I told him I'd take it up, and I told him then and there that I didn't think we're gonna be in a position to do it, but that I would bring it up at the meeting, so, okay, I'll let him know, so denied.
'Cause the attitude at that meeting was, from on my side of the room, was, I'm embarrassed about the amount of money we're not spending, right, frankly, right now. So,
Not spending, yeah.
yeah, so we need to get that done, I mean, the whole thing was, you know, listen, if you have any trouble, come back, so.
Oh, yeah, there was a lot of positive input into that, and I'm
That's
sure
great.
it got done, so there was no issue in that.
Yeah.
And they have the money to do it if they want.
We have a brand new podium, because the podium that, was, pretty terrible shape. And so it was delivered to Go Green, with the hopes that Go Green could repair it. They, gave it the, last rates and said that it was beyond repair. So, it's probably out in front now of kindling wood for somebody to pick up on. And, so Go Green purchased a brand new podium
Oh, wow.
and, has put it together, and so we'll be in, and it has, wings that go out to the side if you want, so if you had
Yeah.
things like, if you were using it for something else, like, to give out trophies or, so it,
It's pretty nice.
yeah, it's pretty nice.
I was volunteered in the town's town committee by a friend of mine to take care of
On
the podium. So I got it, and when I got it, it was, first off, you know, it was in it belonged to it was property of the whole town, I think, but when I was using it, but it was in such bad shape that they gave it to the senior center, so it was back in their garage back there, and so I said, well, I'm gonna go get it, and I had to get somebody to get the lock, and we went out, and they said, I'll have to go get some people, because that thing is really heavy, and don't try to lift that up. So she went off and took it in, and I just picked it up and put the damn thing in the back of my car. And when she came out, she was pretty flummoxed. And I said, not all 80-year-old men are absolutely helpless. So I took it over to Go Green, because they've done some other work for me for us in several pieces of things we had to do for storage. So I went over and I asked his daughter, I said, get your guy, have him come out here and let's take a look at this thing and see, what we're gonna do with it. So we talked for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and they just, we said, okay, well, we'll take a look at it. So it was this meeting last Wednesday when she was at the meeting at Lions Club. I just went, I said, what's going on with the
Podium.
podium? And she looked at me, she said, so we ordered a new one, and I said, I kissed my finger and touched her shoulder, and I said, and please, when we're done, you take it, you can donate it to the senior center.
She's got a good mother. Okay, anything else we need to talk about?
I don't think so.
Okay, well,
Well, I will put it out there that I can play taps if you need it.
yeah,
I thought you guys knew, I was in Bugles Across America, that's what I do.
ah,
Ah,
okay. Backup plan,
Yep, good.
yeah, cause I don't know what I'm gonna encounter, I'm not gonna tolerate much with the band, cause we're paying them $1,500 to
Right.
march a quarter of a mile. So, I expect that, they'll be, cooperative. There are 6 songs that they are gonna be asked to play like a background, and I was asked to get what key they're playing in, so the senior singers can, be in key, so. Normally I would say, when we meet again, but why don't we, do it like I've done most of the time. I'll get in touch with you. I expect that we should have at least one more meeting beforehand, and would, be in a hybrid. Sarah, did you get something out of this meeting? Yes?
Yes, of course.
Okay, great.
I feel like I'm up to speed now.
Okay, tell me, have you made, flight arrangements yet?
I wanted to just make sure what time, because I'll have to fly back here Monday, because Mark works Tuesday. So I just wanted to make sure I knew exactly what time to schedule a return flight, but I'll probably book it tonight.
Good. We'd love to have you up.
Yeah,
I got a
that'll be
question
nice.
Okay, all right. Steve,
about the weather. Is there any chance, if it's real bad rain,
rain or shine?
rain or shine, okay?
Absolutely. No,
No, we're not gonna
Rescheduling.
we're not gonna back out of this.
Okay.
they don't stop wars where rain is, as you know, so, so it's gonna go rain or shine. I mean, if it, well, but we made contingents today for a number of pop-up tents.
Oh, okay,
And,
up here,
it'd be at least 4 or 5 pop-up tents. And, spectators, I mean, obviously it would diminish the environment and the atmosphere and, the number
rained a
of
lot
people.
in Vietnam,
Absolutely.
4 months.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely, constantly, so, so, goes on, rain or shine,
Yeah,
the show must go on.
good.
I'm all in.
Okay, meeting is adjourned at 8:15, thank you very much for coming.
I was here too, bye Sarah, I'm gonna log this out now.
Okay, bye Sarah,
Bye-bye, Sarah.
See you guys.
alright, see you Steve.
Have a good night.
Okay, those
So you-
phone numbers.
You had any contact with this new, veterans?
Yeah, she was here today for the meeting, and she was, had some good input, and, wants to march. But she has a, commitment for Barry, and she's hoping that, cause their parade's at 10, their services are 11, so she's hoping that she can get away in time to potentially be here for the parade, but I doubt it. But she wants to.
Okay.
And, she knew Sarah, she'd been to training classes with Sarah. And, you know, she, seemed, very, involved in what we were talking about today.
Now, I was gonna make some time this next week, just to go and see her.
Wait a minute. Next week you're gonna be in Maryland.
Well, I'll be, not the whole week, I'm gonna be back, late Monday.
Oh, okay, I thought you were going till the 15th.
No.
No, okay.
No, I'm gonna be